y'all, today we're going to be doing a drugstore face foundation routine. This routine is featuring some of my favorite drugstore products, but throughout the video I do mention some other products that you can use as well when it comes to your needs. So thank you guys for stopping by, and if you're interested in seeing my drugstore foundation routine, just keep watching. Hey guys, okay, so I already applied my primer. I use my e.l.f. Poreless Primer, and whenever I go in with a drugstore foundation, I usually have a couple of options. Here I have some of my favorite drugstore foundations. I have 2 from L'Oreal and then 2 from Maybelline, and I also have a BB cream from Burt's Bees. If you're looking for something more lightweight, I would go with the Burt's Bees BB cream. This one is in the shade light medium. It's very, very light on my skin tone. There's not that many skin tones. I would have went for the medium, but the medium was very, very pink and I'm more yellow. This one, it does provide pretty good coverage for a BB cream, but I can't get over the smell. It's such a strong, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a very strong scent that I really don't like. So if you're someone that can handle like smells and stuff like that, I do recommend trying this because it is pretty good coverage and it is very natural. So if that's what you're looking for, just check this one out. Next is the Maybelline Matte Mousse. This is in medium natural beige. This shade's kind of dark, so I usually use this more during the summer, but whenever I'm in a rush to get ready and I really need like a clean canvas on my face, I use this and I take a flat brush. I'll take this foundation with a flat brush like this. This is just some off-brand one. I also have the one from Coastal Scents. It's like a mousse texture. That's what it looks like. And so yeah, I usually lean towards this one if I'm in a rush to get ready because it does provide really good coverage. And if you're looking for something very quick and easy, I would go for this Maybelline Mousse one from the drugstore. Next, I have this Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Foundation. I have it in the shade 30 Warm Nude. This one I really, really like. If you guys remember, Maybelline used to have a Superstay formula. It was like a glass bottle. It was cylinder and had a white cap. That one was awesome. It was one of my favorites. This one I find has more of like a matte finish, but I really do like it. I have the concealer that goes with it, and I also have the powder. So overall, I think this line of foundation is really, really nice. Yeah, if you're looking for something that has a little more coverage, this has SPF 15 too. I would try this one out, and it also comes with a pump, which is really awesome. Okay, so next I have the L'Oreal True Match. This is the original formula, not the Lumi formula, and I have it in the shade Natural Beige W4. This is one of my absolute favorites. The only thing I wish is that I wish it came with a pump, but this one, my skin looks very, very... It looks the most natural out of the foundations that I do have here, and it provides awesome coverage. It lasts all day, and it doesn't make me super oily, and so this color is a really good match too. So if you're looking for something very natural, very pretty, I would go for something like this. But the foundation I'm going to use today is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation in the shade Natural Beige 105. This is one of my favorite drugstore foundations. Whenever I go to work, I always get questions on what foundation I'm wearing, and usually when I get compliments, it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. So I have very oily skin, so the original formula works well for me. If you guys have more dry skin, they do have like a Lumi formula. It has like a little bit of blue on the packaging, but it looks pretty similar. So I'll try something out like that. And so yeah, this is just what we're going to use today. So I just dot this all over my face. When it comes to picking shades from the drugstore, I'm not the best, but if you're ever in the same predicament and you're kind of deciding between 2 shades, I say always go with the lighter shade and to focus on more so of your undertone than your perfect skin match. When you go lighter and darker, it's a lot easier to match your foundation in the end because you can always just darken it up with foundation. So as long as you get your undertone bright and it's not too pink or too yellow, in the end your foundation and your application should look pretty flawless. And so to blend that in, my favorite way to apply foundations is to use a beauty sponge. The one I'm using is also drugstore. It is the Real Techniques beauty sponge. This is the original. I am ordering the diamond sponge soon because I saw Casey Holmes using it and it looks really cool. And I feel like you can never have too many brushes because these do, you do have to replace them later on. Okay, so that's one layer of the foundation. I typically only do 1 layer. I feel like the coverage is pretty nice. As you can tell, I still have problem areas on my face, so that's when I go in with a concealer. So the only 2 that I have right here are the e.l.f. Maximum Coverage Concealer in the shade Beige, and then I have the Maybelline Better Skin Superstay Mascara Concealer in the shade Medium too. I'm kind of running low on this one, so I think I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Maximum Coverage Concealer. This one also has really good coverage, and it's only like less than $5. So just take a little bit on my hand and I just dot it over my blemishes. Most of my problem areas are on my cheeks and then the sides of my temples. So I'm just going to blend that in with the same sponge. Okay, so now that our blemishes are concealed, I'm going to go in with my under eye concealer. So there's a couple different combinations that I use. Sometimes I use the Maybelline one with the little sponge on top of it and I go underneath my eyes and then I go on top of it with the Maybelline Fit Me. My under eye circles are really bad, so I do like something with a little bit more coverage. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Master Conceal and this is in the shade Light Medium. And then I'm going to go over it with the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the shade Light. Alright, now I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me, and I'm going to go emphasize this little triangle underneath my eyes. Down the center of my nose, my cupid's bow, chin, and right here. If you're ever wondering why people go in the center of their face like all over, you want to keep everything balanced. Like if I just put concealer underneath my eyes and that was the only light areas of my face, it would look very, very off. So again, I'm going to take that Real Technique sponge again and just blend out that concealer. If you have trouble with concealer in the innermost part of your eye, just take a small little blending brush. You can take an eyeshadow brush that has nothing on it and then just blend in that concealer. And to set my under eyes, I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. I use this all the time. I love it. You get so much product for your money, and you know Wet n Wild's not expensive at all. So I just put that under my under eyes with this e.l.f. tapered brush. And then I'm going in with this Morphe brush. I don't know what the name is named on the brush, but then I just go over wherever else I put that lighter concealer. To set the rest of the face, we're going to take the Superstay Better Skin powder by Maybelline in the shade 30 Warm Nude. This powder is awesome. It comes with a little sponge. I think it just fell out. And I'm taking, this is an e.l.f. powder brush. The handle fell off, but I like it because it's travel friendly. And so I just apply that to wherever I don't have any powder because I am oily. If you're not oily, then you can always skip this step, but I can't not go without powder. So if you want to, you could just leave your face like that. Sometimes I do that whenever I'm going to school or something, but if I'm going out, I do like to bake, and I do always bake my smile lines whenever I wear makeup because that does crease every single time. So I'm going to go in with the RCMA No Color powder. Okay, so the powder I used to bake was the RCMA No Color powder. This is not something that you can find at the drugstore. I actually bought mine online. I'll try to find the website that I bought it at, but it's lasted me a really long time. The reason I included this was because it is a drugstore price. I think it only cost me about $8, and it comes with, this is 3 ounces for about like $8, I think. I could be lying, but it was fairly inexpensive. If you're looking for an alternative that you can actually find at the drugstore, I would go with the e.l.f. High Definition Powder. This is just a white powder. This is in the color Sheer. I used to use this before my RCMA No Color powder came in. Don't that the RCMA No Color powder one does work better, but this one did do a pretty decent job whenever I was baking with it. I would just apply to the same places. This one, I just don't like the texture as much as I do with the RCMA No Color powder. I feel like I can still feel it on my face. But if you're looking for something that you can rock right into the drugstore, fine. This is only $6, and it does last you a really long time as well. So while that's baking, I wanted to talk about some other setting powders that you can use for your under eyes. This is a palette by Makeup Revolution. This is the Ultra Contour palette. As you can see, I've hit pan on these 2 shades over here. These are the ones I used to set my face. This was a pinky skin tone color, and then this was a banana shade like I used from the Wet n Wild one. This one lasted me a really long time. I really like this palette because it does come with highlights. These 2 highlights I really don't care for, but this one is really nice. And then I use all 3 of these shades to contour whenever I feel like it. So if you're ever in Ulta and you want to look for like a universal palette, I would go for this one. The one that I used today was the Wet n Wild Mega Glow palette. This yellow powder is going to last me frickin' forever. This one's really, really nice too because it's very inexpensive and it does last you a really long time. The only thing is that you don't get a lot of colors. Like this is just a simple brown color. At least with the Makeup Revolution color, you do get a couple options when it comes to like ashiness and things like that. But overall, for the price and for the quality, this is really, really nice. Since you really don't need that many options when it comes to contouring and bronzer, I would go for something like this. But if you want a little bit more options, I would go with the Makeup Revolution one. One last contour palette I wanted to mention was this e.l.f. contour palette. When you open up like this, this one did break, but it comes with a highlight, an under eye setting powder, a ashy contouring shade, and then like a bronzer color. This one I really do enjoy because it's very simple. It's exactly what you need. This is something you can take on the go, and these do pop out. So if you didn't want to maybe you have an under eye powder, you can pop it out and put one of the blush shades in there. So this is something that's really nice to travel with, and the colors in here work really well too. I use every single one of these powders, but as you can tell, I do kind of gravitate more towards these. So if you're looking for something very simple, you can get this at Target for about $6. Alright, now we're going to brush away all the baking. Am I still recording? Okay. And since we were talking about highlight and contour palettes, we're going on to my favorite part, which is bronzer. The Drugstore does have a lot of different options when it comes to bronzers that are very, very nice and inexpensive. Neutrogena has a good one. If you watch Casey Holmes' videos, you know which ones I'm talking about. These are some of my favorites right here. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light Bronzer. And then this is the Rimmel Natural Bronzer in the shade Sun Light. I also have the NYC Sunny. It's an oldie but a goodie, but mine's a little bit shattered right now, so I only have these two. I've been trying to get my hands on this for a while, but all I've been seeing is this lighter shade. I really want the dark one because I am a little bit more on the tan side. But this kind of does a job for a natural look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the e.l.f. complexion brush and dip it in my bronzer. This bronzer smells really good too. It smells like freaking sunshine and the beach. It smells like coconut. It smells just really good. So I'm going to take that on e.l.f. complexion brush and I'm going to put it on the perimeter of my face. This is the bronzer you can use if you want a really natural finish, because especially with this shade, it still bronzes my skin, but I feel like it keeps it very, very natural. So if you're looking for something really natural, I would just stop at the bronzer, but today I actually want to contour. So I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. contour palette and I'm going to take that contour shade in there. So there's two brushes I like to contour with. They're both from Real Techniques. This is the contour brush and then I think this is the flat contour brush. I'm not sure, but you can recognize it because this brush is very, very pretty. In reality, you only need one, but I mean, since I have them both, I'm going to probably use them both. So I'm going to take the contour shade on this flat brush first and apply it to the hollows of my cheek, and then I'm going to go into my temples. But since I have my contour brush as well, I'm going to go in with my Physicians Formula bronzer again. I'm going to put a little bit on my brush, and then I'm going to go over and blend my contour out.
Since I have both brushes, that's my favorite way to do it. And then blend that contour into your hairline. And then blend out your jawline.
And then if it ever looks harsh, you just take your complexion brush again and you just go over your face. There's nothing wrong with blending too much. There's no such thing. It's better to look less contoured than to look muddy or unblended. When it comes to blushes, I'm very, very simple. I'm not really picky about it. I actually don't use a lot of blush on my face anyways, but my favorite ones are from Wet n Wild and Milani. The Milani Baked brushes are beautiful. This is the shade Luminoso, and then this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon brush in Mellow Wine. So to apply blush, I usually like to go in with my Beige cosmetic brush, but since this is a drugstore face routine, I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. blush brush instead. You can get this for $3 or $4. It might have gone up. I'm going to focus it on my... These are my owls. I'm going to focus right here, and then I'm going to kind of blend it back. So yeah, I never go too crazy with my blush, and then I just blend it out again. Alright, now onto highlighter. This is the last step. I don't go super crazy over highlighters. I do think a lot of highlighters are pretty, but I never feel like I really need to have them. So the one that I have from the drugstore is this Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter Powder in the shade Radiant Lights. It's a nice pinky pearl color, so there's two brushes that I like to apply it with. I have the Sigma Tapered Highlighter Brush in F35, the F35, and then I also have this e.l.f. brush. I don't know what this brush is called, the name's not on it, but just look for this brush if you want it on e.l.f. website. Cheekbone. See that? Not too flashy, but right up my alley. And then right there. And then if you want, you can highlight the bridge of your nose. Again, I don't do that because I feel like my nose is big and it gets very oily, but I do my Cupid's bow just for shits and giggles. I also don't go super crazy with my lips, so today I'm going to use the Maybelline Color Sensational Lipstick in Clay Crush. There it is. That's my drugstore face foundation routine. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Keep an eye out for my next videos by hitting the subscribe button down below. I really do appreciate it. If you guys are interested in following me on social media, I'll have everything linked down below. I have my personal Twitter, my personal Instagram, and then my makeup Instagram. So yeah, I hope you guys learned a little bit something about drugstore makeup. Drugstore makeup can be really good and it gives you a full coverage look as well. Some of my favorite foundations come from the drugstore and I hardly ever splurge on something very expensive for my face because you can find anything really well at the drugstore too. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.